We'll just roll with it. Hi everyone, if you are watching, we are going to take a few minutes to set up. Usually I put up a graphic at this point, but we're mobile, so everything's a little, off kilter. I'm Nicole Gugliucci. I'm a postdoc with the CosmoQuest Citizen Science Project. This is Learning Space. We are a weekly hangout / podcast, talks about different topics and issues in science and astronomy, outreach, and education. We took off the last couple weeks. I was hoping to post some videos of cool ice and snow science, but unfortunately I had a really bad flu. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. We took off 2 weeks for the holidays, but we're back with a live impromptu, not at our usual time show, with the astronomy ambassadors from the American Astronomical Society meeting in near Washington, D.C. this year. Got the hashtag for the meeting underneath me, AAS223. Lots of great tweets and discussion happening with regards to astronomy, astronomy education, astronomy the science, science policy, budgets, everything you can think of. So I am joined as well by Catherine Williamson.
Hi.
Yay! So she is actually set up on the other side of the ballroom from me so that hopefully we don't get in each other's mics and echo. We've got at least 2 more, possibly 3 more astronomy ambassadors joining us. We just last minute changed the location as they rightly pointed out to me that the lobby will probably start making music and noise really soon. And we're near the elevators, so we picked an acoustically better spot, so you guys rock, because I did not think of that. Maybe we can get started really quickly with Catherine and an introduction, who you are, what you do, where you work. Yeah, go ahead with that.
Sure, yeah. My name's Catherine Williamson. I am the Public Education Specialist at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and the NRAO for short. Yep. NRAO has several sites kind of scattered around the United States, and I'm in Green Bank, West Virginia. So our sort of pride and joy there is the Green Bank telescope, which is a huge radio dish that has a surface area of 2.3 acres, just to kind of give you some scale there. So yeah, happy to be here.
And it's very nice. It's very good to meet you, because you just started working at the NRAO in May.
I did.
And I used to spend a lot of time in Green Bank and love it out there, so that's exciting.
It's definitely an interesting place. It's in the National Radio Quiet Zone, so cell phone signals aren't really around, at least close to the observatory, and when you're on observatory property, you're not even allowed to have wireless internet, microwaves, wireless phones.
So it's a new way of living for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to remind you guys, if you're watching, please share the link. We love when you share things. If you want to send a comment or question, apparently I screwed up the Q&A app again. They changed it again. But I will be trying to watch the comments on YouTube and on the Google Plus event page. So please say hi. Feel free to ask questions and leave a comment there for us. So the group of people I got together are all astronomy ambassadors, which is a program that started last year, I think, at the American Astronomical Society meeting as a program to train and teach young astronomers to do more effective outreach and be confident in doing outreach and build a community of outreach. So I know if you've watched this show, you know I love it. Obviously, but maybe I want to hear from Catherine a little bit about why you applied to be in this program.
Yeah. As the public education specialist for the NRAO, I definitely care about outreach and being the best at that I can be. And I really liked this program because we had hands-on opportunities to practice communication and how the ideas that are in our heads don't always translate to the people we're trying to teach exactly as we would expect it to. And I also really liked his workshop because we got a lot of hands-on activities that we could do, and we got to practice doing them. So I'm definitely going to use the things I learned to go back to the observatory and help kind of actually train more ambassadors. So college students around West Virginia to be better science communicators and to really have the skills and knowledge that they need to go out and interact with people that may be really different from them, and to really try to find that point of connection with whatever audience that they might encounter.
Very cool. Now so you're speaking about training undergrads in West Virginia. You also presented on a program you worked on in Montana, where you were recently a grad student. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the program that we're doing in West Virginia that's modeled after the Montana program is called the Space Public Outreach Team, or SPOT for short. And we recruit and train undergraduate presenters to learn science or astronomy, space science themed presentations that feature science that's going on in each respective state. So in West Virginia, clearly we want to highlight the GBT because that's awesome. So yeah, and so the kind of idea is to send these presenters out to schools, preferably free of charge for the schools, and go anywhere, lots of rural places that don't get this kind of attention, and just let students know that, hey, this stuff is really cool, and it's being delivered by a cool college mentor or college role model, and you don't have to go far from home to do real science or to be part of the scientific endeavor, and to be an astronomer, and to be part of world-class research. So, so that's kind of the main message, and it's kind of just good for everyone because the kids love it. They love seeing a cool mentor, a cool role model. The college students love it because they really see the inspiration that they can instill in student and young kids. They get great professional development experience, and the teachers love it because it generally fits in the next generation science standards, and so it fits in their curriculum. The institutions around the state love it because it's like advertisement for all the great work they do, and it has like that broader impact side to most of the grants that you would want for your education programs. So it's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, you put out. Sorry, I'm also tweeting the other two. They don't know what room we're in. Whoopsie.
Yeah, well, I can talk a little bit more about SPOT.
Yes, because you particularly gave a very you inspired me to, or trying to inspire the audience to come up with a SPOT program in every state. So yes, talk a little bit more about that while I make sure the other two.
Yeah. No, I think it would be awesome if we had sort of a like cadre of presenters that could go around every state, within every state, and inspire all the kids there. Because in Montana, the program's been going on for about 17 years, and we reach about an average of 10,000 Montana students per year. That's really a huge number when you think of it in context with some of the other public outreach endeavors that we try to do, and the cost is so small. It's only costs about $7 per student. So, so it's really like large scale and low cost and pretty sustainable. Yeah, so I definitely encourage, if you're interested in astronomy education and outreach, or if you're like a scientist and you just want to kind of like get involved a little bit more, to just start talking to people at your institution, or definitely the space grant in your state, because each state has a space grant. Like, I've been finding a lot of people don't know this great resource that they have, and you can just start getting the ball rolling, and I'm definitely happy to help serve as like a point of contact or whatever if you just need some more information about that.
No, it's broken. Oh, awesome.
Okay.
So we are being joined by, I'm so sorry, I lost you guys. Sorry. So I have with me Sebastian. I'm going to screw up the pronunciation.
Sebastian Guillot.
Guillot. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's all easier than that. Sebastian Guillot, and we also have Meredith Rawls.
Hello. I can also
Go
do
the
my name tags.
Yes, we all have name tags, right?
Maybe.
So first of all, I want to do a quick shout out to Guido Bibra. Hi, Guido. He is watching the Stargazing Live with Chris Hadfield. Awesome. On BBC while watching us as well. Thank you for including us with them. And also, yes, noting that Tony Darnell, Deep Astronomy, has been doing a lot of live broadcasting from the AAS as well. So check out his stream. We love Toady. We give him hugs. Yes, my laptop screen sometimes blacks out,
Okay.
so I keep it low. It's scary. Anyway, so maybe Sebastian, you want to? Oh, hey, we have another person.
Hey.
Come on over.
Sorry, I've had
That's fine. See, yeah, does that. Donut. Yeah, come. Yeah, bring a chair over. Go over there and.
All right.
Sorry, this is all kinds of We also have a summer ash. You may know. Hey, Summer Ash. You may know
more than one.
a lot of these awesome people from Twitter as well, I hope. Does that work? I'm kind of...
All right.
Okay, I don't want to move the computer again. Okay, so Sebastian, tell us about yourself, what you work on, where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Montreal. I study at McGill University, and 2 years ago we started a group with Brian Lynch, a postdoc at McGill University.
Former UVA student, whoop whoop.
We started a group really dedicated to organizing a bunch of outreach activities. So now we have about 10, 15 volunteers, more or less fully dedicated, and we have public series of lecture and observing nights. We go to primary school for activities, and we have also a podcast series. So you can look for it on iTunes, Astro McGill podcast.
Yeah, you guys do
we have like
stuff.
something like 42 episodes already. So.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. So, and McGill is located
In Montreal,
in Montreal.
Canada.
So yeah, definitely go visit and do an awesome local resource. Sorry. So you we were just hearing from Catherine. Catherine and I are new astronomy ambassadors, but you have been in the program for a while. So maybe you can tell us what it's been like for the past year.
Yeah, so Meredith and I joined the first cohort last year at the AAS in Long Beach, the first cohort of the Astronomy Ambassador Program, and so it was the first one, so there were things that were not perfect, but the program was really good altogether. We had a lot of, tips to organize outreach activities, a lot of activities also to organize in schools. The forum worked pretty well, kind of interaction between the different ambassadors, and I liked it. So I tried to come back this year to interact with the new cohort. Sorry.
Cohort, that's what we're being called? Okay.
Yeah,
We're a cohort, I like it. Meredith, since you want to tell us a little bit about yourself down there, and you're also one of the first cohort of the Astronomy Ambassadors as well.
It's true. So I'm a graduate student at New Mexico State University. I study binary stars. And I was in the first group, or cohort, I suppose, with Sebastian last year. And it was really a neat experience because I heard about it just I think online. I saw a thing for it, and I was like, well, I like outreach, and this is a program for people who want to do more outreach, so that sounds neat. And it was really cool because we got to do all these different activities, like you were saying, and we got to like plan a little program as if we were doing an outreach activity, kind of role-playing, and we got to just learn a whole bunch of new activities that we can do for people of all ages. It was just a really cool experience, and I was glad to get to come back this year and visit you guys and see how the program's improved.
Yay! Yes, it was good to hear from you guys. We had a little lunch panel session with you guys talking about it. And Summer, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Summer is also one of the new cohort with me and Catherine. So.
Cohort 2.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, so I'm the director of outreach at Columbia University in the astronomy department, and that program, the outreach program at Columbia, got started by the grad students over the last 10 years and sort of gained a lot of momentum, and to the point where now it's part of the culture, really, which is really fun because incoming graduate students hear, like, this is what we do here. And it's gotten to the point where we have a really broad spectrum of programs. We have public nights twice a month. We have schools that come visit us on a case-by-case basis, like as we can host them. And we have a program that takes grad students into middle schools and talks about a day in the life of an astronomer. Because in middle school you sort of know astronomy, but you don't really know what that means to be an astronomer. And we also have a program that pairs grad students with teachers in high schools who run astronomy clubs. And so then that pair has an ongoing relationship as long as the graduate students at Columbia.
And that is something that they really stressed I think in the workshop, and this is something that Ryan and I came from University of Virginia. It was stressed as well. To build continuing relationships, right? A lot of us do one-off outreach events, and they're cool, and they can be inspiring, but there was a big push to build sustained relationships. So
absolutely.
So you're already doing that.
Yeah.
at
So
Columbia.
we do that in the one program. It's called Rooftop Variables, because the idea is that we actually give the teacher a telescope with a camera and a laptop that they can potentially observe variable stars, because even in New York City you can see a star change, surprisingly.
Hear that, fellow New York?
But you're right, that's something that we want to do with the other program, like going into middle schools. We want to establish relationships with, especially with schools in the area around Columbia,
right.
And try and go back again and again. And but also one thing we are noticing with our public program is that we are getting a class of regulars.
Oh,
which is kind of
okay.
fun. And they're both retired people and parents with kids.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of kids that we recognize again and again and again,
that's
which is
excellent.
kind of fun, because now we're starting to, they start to recognize us, we start to recognize them, and so we check in every time they come.
That's fantastic. So the community is building itself.
The community is building itself.
Cool.
It's really fun.
So have you noticed a difference in your outreach, Sebastian and Meredith, with the new tools that you have, and have you noticed a difference from doing outreach in a more sustained way?
Well, I'll start if you don't mind, Meredith.
Yeah.
So the new tools that we got was mostly a wide variety of activities. So when we started the outreach activities in primary school, before I joined the Astronomer Ambassador program, we had a series of 5 activities that we're kind of doing in a loop, and it was always the same thing. They work well. I mean, the make your own comet with the kids, it's just amazing. They love it. But even for us, it's good to have a bit of variety. And so the Astronomy Ambassador program really gave us the tools to, pick from a lot of activities, and we tried different things, and they worked well, mostly.
Mostly.
Can I ask, is there a new activity that you've tried from that resource that is like now a go-to one?
Let's see. Well, some of the scale of the solar system that I use. So we've done before the scale of the solar system on a tape, register tape, but
the pocket solar system.
The pocket one. But then I also from those activities we did the full size, so where you match the distance scale and the size scale at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lot of fun to do outside, of course, because otherwise you can't.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of, so in my department, I feel like a lot of the outreach we were doing was not very well directed and or coordinated, and we would just kind of have the same 5 activities that we would do, over and over again. And it was like, okay, maybe what if the same people were to come, right? Like Summer was saying, we might get actually repeat visitors. And if that ever happened, then like they'd have the same exercise like basically every time, because we didn't really mix it up very much. So I think for me, one of the best resources coming out of the program was just a wealth of new activities to do, as well as just a little bit more of an idea of maybe thinking about the goals of your outreach, who your audience is, tailoring each activity so it's not just, hey, people are going to show up, we're going to do a thing, and they're going to like it, whatever, but thinking a little more coherently about like the outcomes that you want and how you can actually design your program to achieve that. You guys are looking at me like I don't exist.
Sorry. No, I mute our end when you guys are talking.
Oh, okay.
I want to, so I think we should give a shout out to the people in the program who've developed this huge list of activities. In particular, Andy Fracknoy seems to have been
fire hose of resources.
It was a bit of a fire hose of resources, but he likes just gathering resources. And this was something we talked about. I'm wearing my Dot Astronomy shirt. We talked about the last Dot Astronomy. Like, there's all these astronomy resources scattered, and so he's working to bring them all in one place. And so this is the Moose. Does anyone remember what MOOSE stands for? Because I don't know.
It's a menu
outreach
opportunity, maybe.
Students and educators?
Sure.
I'm sorry, we don't remember. Well, we know MOOSE, and if you look up MOOSE on the AAS website.
From the Astronomical Society of the Pacific.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so they're, yes, the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, but also I think they're hosting it on the American Astronomical Society site as well. those are words disappeared from my head. So they're actually hosted. All the resources we got, all the links. I mean, you didn't get all the physical things we got, but all the links and all the information they're working to put out there. So if you look for Moose on ASP or AAS, that'll take you to all of these astronomy resources, and I'll try and post it in the comment thread after their broadcast. Yeah, it's a huge, 157 activities.
I would have guessed more. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like this. But more than just the activities, it's a lot of information and resources on how to engage your audience, how to, the terminology that you should really avoid, things like this.
Yeah.
So it's really full of very useful things.
And how to find a group that you want to do outreach with, how to find local community partners. Yeah, I think, so yeah, we're going to tap Andy Fracknoy for a future episode of Learning Space to talk more about it.
That's a great idea.
Or several episodes, because he does have a lot to offer. So yeah. Did you guys have a favorite particular, either a hands-on activity or a topic that we talked about, maybe you guys last year and us this year?
Well, the activity on the second day that we so I don't remember what its name was, but it was the one where you wore the colored visors.
Yeah,
Alien eyes.
Seeing through alien eyes.
Yeah,
Alien eyes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, and so you had the different objects, like a tree, a sun, a cloud, and a pool, but each one would be in every color of the rainbow, and you had to pick out the one that was color appropriate, so the green tree.
Yeah.
But then you had people wearing blue visors, green visors, and red visors. And so you had to have a conversation to figure out how they would be viewed by each of you.
Yeah,
And
that was
start
really cool.
slowly eliminating them. I really like that one.
Yeah.
So if I can give an advice about this activity,
Yes.
you really need to get the perfect color, because we tried and we kind of, we didn't buy the actual filters that we were supposed to. We just bought some acetate sheets that we found in a arts craft and art store, so it didn't work really well. You need to get the right filters and colors.
Okay.
So this is where the resource
Noted.
itself is important. You need those
Exactly.
specific filters.
Follow the directions.
All the directions of, yeah.
Right.
My favorite activity was actually just like the first thing we did, where we got into groups and one person was the teacher and then two other people were the learners, and the teacher had to describe a drawing to the learner without showing them, without drawing it in the air with their hands. And we kind of did it in different stages, where the teacher could see what the students were doing, or couldn't see what the students were doing, and then he or she could see what the students were doing, and then the third level was where we could ask questions and have a dialogue. And just seeing the amount of effort that you have to do to really get your point across is just was such a very internalizing experience of that.
Yeah.
What really, what it really takes to be a good communicator.
Yeah, because in that case you could see, or at least could see at the end, the picture that your learner had in their head.
Mhm.
And in reality, that doesn't, if you're just talking at somebody, you don't get
Like
that.
draw a squiggly line on top of a triangle, and their idea of that is totally different from yours, it turns out.
Right, right. Just
There were
the
extra
amount of-
squares in there and
Yeah.
everything. I mean,
Yeah, how specific you had to be. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say they brought that up, or sorry, I realized now that they looped back to that when they were talking about if you then are talking about, I can't remember what the example was, but a type of an object, if you're naming an object in the course of explaining something, what your audience is going to be picturing and trying to understand that they could be picturing multiple things.
yeah, like if
So
we
you
say
really
wave,
see-
we think
that's right.
electromagnetic wave, and somebody else might think,
Yeah.
hi. Oh, you can't see my hand. Hi. Wave, that kind of wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just being aware of jargon, but even normal words.
Mhm.
How different.
For any preconceived notions, yeah. We all have so many preconceived notions, and you don't think about it until you have to try to explain something to somebody, and then you realize that your preconceived notions do not line up with theirs. So knowing that going in is very powerful, because then you can at least step back and attempt to start kind of at a common ground square zero.
Right. So that need for constant assessment, I think we really came across from that activity. We got some goodies too. I don't know where my bag is,
I've got
but
a huge bag that I have to figure out how to get back to New York.
yeah, we gotta stuff extra things in our checked baggage. There are card games and card decks for sorting. For teaching astronomy. There were other things we got to play with that we didn't get to take home, like the little light-up tube. It was kind of a discrepant event activity.
And the little robot thingamajigs at the
There were the little robot thingamajigs. I don't know what they're called, but they were adorable.
The wind-up little dancey guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Buy all of them.
It was that. Oh yeah, that was an interesting activity because we had to write down. We got this little toy robot thing. They wind up. They made of gears and little clock parts, and they do something bizarre, and you had to play with it and write down what your initial reactions to it were. And so it was seeing yourself as the learner. I'm trying to remember what else kind of was the point.
Yeah,
because you
wanted to know about it.
Right. What do you want to know about it? So if you can do such an activity. Yeah, you can do such an activity with your learners to see how they think. I think from the start, so that was really cool. And you could probably do that with anything, but the robots were cool. Particularly special and fantastic.
So about the card games that we got, I never had the chance to use it with kids. I was wondering if maybe Meredith had the chance to use it with the publics or kids.
The card games?
The card games?
The card games. No, I've never really used the card games. But one thing I did use, I don't know if they gave you guys this, but it was to explain how radial velocity planet detections work, where you have like a little foam ball and you stick like a toothpick planet in it, and then you spin it on the table, and it turns out that it doesn't spin evenly, right? So if you have like a ball with a toothpick sticking out of it, it's not going to spin symmetrically. It's going to spin and kind of have this funny wobble to it, and that's the quote-unquote wobble technique or radial velocity technique for how we find planets around other stars. So I used that when I was talking to some undergraduates, and they wanted me to. Some of them, they're all interested in astronomy, but they're not science majors, and they have a little club at my university, and they're like, yeah, we want grad students to come and give talks about stuff in science, and I was like, okay. So I used that as kind of an introduction to get them, so it wasn't just like lecturing at them for 15 minutes, because, that's boring. So I think they liked it because I play with it. So. And you can change out the size of the planet. You can put a big fat one in there, and it wobbles a lot and like falls off the table. And then you put a little one in there, and it's almost, you can't tell it's there. So it's a really nice analogy for finding planets.
We got to play with that, but we didn't get our own sets.
Oh, okay.
But I have one at home. I think a similar one.
Oh, you can do it with styrofoam balls.
Yeah, styrofoam balls and little like golf tees. I think. I think that's what they've made them out of.
Yeah.
Toothpicks. Yeah.
And Play-Doh, even for the little planet.
Yeah, this sounds like an activity we'll have to do on the show because it is pretty fun.
Another great activity for planet transit. There's an app that you can use on your phone or I think on a laptop. It's basically just something that uses your laptop camera. You point your laptop camera at a source of light. You select the light with some kind of circle, and it draws a light curve. Oh. So you have the light curve of the light, and then you just pass a small sphere in front of your light, and then you get a transit. And it's really amazing to try that.
What's it called?
I think it's called Light Grapher.
Light Grapher?
I can send the link after on this.
Summer is pulling out her phone now.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. The difficulty is not to saturate the camera with a bright light.
Yeah,
so you need to be far enough or dim light.
I want to see it come up on the phone. Light Grapher.
Okay,
so search for that,
else
guys.
in the meantime.
No, actually, I mean, it's getting. I know this is kind of a shorter hangout than we usually do. But I want to wrap up soon because I'm sure people want to go to dinner. Let me see. Kepler Light Grapher. It's a flash applet.
Yeah.
There you go. Kepler Light Grapher. So from the Kepler science team. Awesome. Yay, Nessie PO doing fantastic things. There's one little message there. So I think all of us would like to thank the people running the program.
Absolutely.
The ASP and AAS have come together to put together a really great astronomy ambassadors program. If you are a student or a postdoc or young faculty in astronomy, really strongly consider this program. If you don't have outreach experience, if you have a little outreach experience, anything you want to learn about doing outreach and building and being part of this community, I think they're going to try and do it at least one more January meeting.
I sure hope so.
So, and then at other, hopefully, expand to other conferences as well. Look for the program Astronomy Ambassadors and apply, because it's a really good workshop.
It's completely free. Also, they cover some of your travel expenses and stuff like that, just to the hotel room, and they feed you. So it's not an added expense to the meeting per se. And I would also say it's really great for people, even if outreach isn't your primary thing. I think it's still important for people to, if they're going to do just a little outreach, to try to do it effectively. So it's just a 2-day thing. If you're already coming to AAS next year, just consider trying to tack it on.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I have to fill out that reimbursement form.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun. Okay. I want to. So there's some comments going by. Guido and Hugo Burnham are think that I should be on BBC Stargazing with Brian Cox, which I think is
Do it.
yeah. Let's to make that happen. From learning space to BBC is kind of a big jump, but thank you for the thought. You guys rock. But yeah, I know we're probably going to head off to dinner and enjoy the rest of the conference. But thank you guys so much for doing this. Sorry it was a little scattered at the beginning.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. And I will probably be plugging all the work you guys do on the show, and would like to have you guys back to talk about the awesome work you're doing on the show. So thank you all, and thank you guys for watching, even though it was a last minute at a weird time. Thank you, Richard Drum, for editing the audio, which is probably terrible because we're all in the same echoey room. And thanks for watching Learning Space, everybody. Bye. Hit the stop button.
When you're on observatory property, you're not even allowed to have wireless internet, microwaves, wireless phones.
So it's a new way of living for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to remind you guys, if you're watching, please share the link. We love when you share things. If you want to send a comment or question, apparently I screwed up the Q&A app again. They changed it again. But I will be trying to watch the comments on YouTube and on the Google Plus event page. So please say hi. Feel free to ask questions and leave a comment there for us. So the group of people I got together are all Astronomy Ambassadors, which is a program that started last year, I think, at the American Astronomical Society meeting as a program to train and teach young astronomers to do this year. Got the hashtag for the meeting underneath me, AAS223. Lots of great tweets and discussion happening with regards to astronomy, astronomy education, astronomy the science, science policy, budgets, everything you can think of. So I am joined as well by Catherine Williamson.
Hi.
Yay! So she is actually set up on the other side of the ballroom from me, so that hopefully we don't get in each other's mics and echo. We've got at least 2 more, possibly 3 more astronomy ambassadors joining us. We just last minute changed the location as they rightly pointed out to me that the lobby will probably start making music and noise really soon. And we're near the elevators, so we picked an acoustically better spot, so you guys rock, because I did not think of that. Maybe we can get started really quickly with Catherine and an introduction, who you are, what you do, where you work. Yeah, go ahead with that.
Sure, yeah. My name's Catherine Williamson. I am the Public Education Specialist at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and the NRAO for short. Yep. NRAO has several sites kind of scattered around the United States, and I'm in Green Bank, West Virginia. So our sort of pride and joy there is the Green Bank telescope, which is a huge radio dish that has a surface area of 2.3 acres, just to kind of give you some scale there. So yeah, happy to be here.
And it's very nice. It's very good to meet you, because you just started working at the NRAO in May.
I did.
And I used to spend a lot of time in Green Bank and love it out there, so that's exciting.
It's definitely an interesting place. It's in the National Radio Quiet Zone, so cell phone signals aren't really around, at least close to the observatory, and
we'll just roll with it. Hi everyone, if you are watching, we are going to take a few minutes to set up. Usually I put up a graphic at this point, but we're mobile, so everything's a little, you know, off kilter. I'm Nicole Gugliucci. I'm a postdoc with the CosmoQuest Citizen Science Project. This is Learning Space. We are a weekly hangout / podcast, talks about different topics and issues in science and astronomy, outreach, and education. We took off the last couple weeks. I was hoping to post some videos of cool ice and snow science, but unfortunately I had a really bad flu. That's my excuse, so I'm sticking to it. We took off 2 weeks for the holidays, but we're back with a live impromptu, not at our usual time show, with the astronomy ambassadors from the American Astronomical Society meeting in near Washington, D.C. More effective outreach and be confident in doing outreach and build a community of outreach. So I know if you've watched this show, you know I love it, obviously. But maybe I want to hear from Catherine a little bit about why you applied to be in this program.
Yeah. As the public education specialist for the NRAO, I definitely care about outreach and being the best at that I can be, and I really liked this program because we had hands-on opportunities to practice communication, and how the ideas that are in our heads don't always translate to the people we're trying to teach exactly as we would expect it to. And I also really liked this workshop because we got a lot of hands-on activities that we could do, and we got to practice doing them. So I'm definitely going to use the things I learned to go back to the observatory and help kind of actually